Hi, my name is Jeremy Borman, and I am going to be going over this week's assignment. It says create and submit a video presentation highlighting the use of specific technology. Well, I actually taught a lesson for this class, and I use Screencastify, Screencastify, which is my preferred platform. I pay for the upgraded prescription. With having hybrid learning, remote learning, and in-person learning all in the same year, it's made it much easier because if we're in person, I will still record videos and go over the videos and explain things even in class. And I'll show the video that I made, bits and pieces of it sometimes. And then we'll go over everything as if nothing was wrong, we didn't have COVID, and I'll teach normal. If the students have any questions, they can go back and watch the video. And it gives them an opportunity to spend a little more time with the lecture or presentation part than they got in class. So learning theory is meant to explain and help us understand how the students learn. There's different types of or different learning theories. Behaviorism is one, and it's really the study of how people behave. Uh, Cognitive learning. And then when we look into cognitive learning, most papers or studies that you'll read have pyramid. And the pyramid will basically be creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. So I was told to read a book before I started this transition to teaching, and it's about Bloom's taxonomy. And I read the book, and I agree with a lot of the thoughts and theories within the book. Uh, in my experience, students learn differently. Some are hands-on, some can read and do the whole assignment without your help. Some need a step-by-step instruction and teaching of the assignment we're going over. And others require a little bit of help, a little bit of explanation, maybe reviewing it once or twice, and maybe in different ways, rephrasing something because they might not get it. And then we have social constructivism. And basically, that runs parallel to your behaviorism and cognitive learning. And there's a lot of theories about that. John Dewey has a theory, and many other people. So that is the rationale behind the way I teach. Even after COVID's over, I'm going to probably still make videos. That way the students have that to reflect on when they're at home, since I am not there to help them. I like to go over each assignment in a little bit of detail. I like to do a couple practice problems with them, and you'll see that in the video I upload from my teaching, in-class teaching video. And because every class that I've taught, I have extroverts, introverts, people that or students do in-depth thinking, and students that really aren't very in-depth thinkers. They basically see the paper and can't envision what to do. And what a student perceives as far as how much effort that I'm giving actually changes how much effort they give in class. So by going through all my videos and trying to help them out as much as I can, answering emails. I answer emails sometimes at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I do my best to show them that I care and I am here to help them with everything they need and explain it in great detail or as much detail as it's needed for them to be able to learn the topics and subjects that are being taught and learn how to do it on their own. It says reflect on your use of current technology. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. Well, as you can see at the top of my screen up here, Screencastify is one of my biggest tools. I use Google Classroom quite a bit. So basically in Google Classroom, I do a weekly overview, which you'll also see in the lesson that I upload. I use breakout rooms. If we're full remote, I really enjoy the breakout rooms, which I have up here. And it allows students to do group work in a remote setting. Reflect on the process of teaching through the use of technology. At the beginning of the week, I already have my video set up because I like to do it on Thursday or Friday the previous week or on the previous weekend. That way, when we get to class, I open up all the lessons for the students for that week on Monday. So if we go to my ebook right here, it'll tell them, like, let's say this is due April 11th, which is today. And this was due March 28th. Then if we go down here even farther, like chapter 10 is due April 18th. But it doesn't open up early. It'll open up the Sunday or Monday before it's due, so they have a week to do all of this work. And then if I feel that it's taking longer to do the work, I will keep the chapter open for another 5 days, maybe a week, and we will continue going over it for an extra week. I build in a little bit of room into my lessons to allow for an overage, just in case we have some type of hiccup where they're not understanding what I'm teaching, they don't understand the lesson, they don't understand how to do the math. Like this lesson that you're going to see, we did simple interest. And simple interest has a lot of math in it. And we also had to figure out what an APR was or what the APR in a certain scenario would be. So the math kind of hung them up a little bit, so we took a little extra time in this lesson. I also have videos that the textbook built in. So there's a video that goes over open-ended revolving credit, a video that goes over fixed and floating rate. And it's real nice having these videos because they break up my talking. That way they don't have to listen to me all the time. I can play a video with somebody else talking and explaining it as opposed to me just lecturing. Reflect on how to use the technology or how the use of technology has impacted students' learning in your class. Well, the grades have gone up since I've embedded the videos, even with in-person learning, with the videos loaded to Google Classroom, with them being able to reflect back on them, it has really helped with the grades because any questions they have, some students are afraid to ask questions. So that's why I like being back in person so I can see if a student looks perplexed or if they're not engaged, then I can address that. In a remote setting, it's very hard to address a student that's not engaged because I can't really tell. A lot of students don't even turn their camera on, so it's very hard to tell if they're fully engaged or if they understand it if they don't say something. So the videos have really helped out. And I go into quite a bit of detail in my videos on how to do certain things, keywords, vocabulary, etc. And then if a student comes up with an issue that has been a hang up with other students, I'll make an additional video on whatever they hung up on. That way every student can watch it and say, oh yeah, I had that problem too. Or I haven't got to that, but I'm glad they brought that up. That way it's not an issue and I get there. So we've had a very interesting year this year. I see a lot of stuff up here that you put Pear Deck. I've used that a little bit. Seesaw has been used more in our lower grades than in high school. As a school, we went over Kahoot. I don't really use that a whole lot. I do use surveys every now and then to see what the students think about what we've learned, and I will give them questionnaires on how they think it can be improved, especially the videos that I'm giving them, what they'd like to see in the video, what would help them if we go full remote again, what they'd like explained in a little more detail, so on and so forth. So I think that answers all of these questions. And like I said, I am going to actually put a lesson. I'm going to upload it for you. That way you can see exactly what the lesson is like. There are some improvements I would like to make. I am going to use stuff like you can see down here in the bottom left, markup pen, rectangle, erasers, that type of stuff. So I'm going to start using a chalkboard or writing tool to actually write the answers and go over all the work with them on the computer. Remote, I did that quite a bit, but I used my iPad. So I logged in with my iPad and I would use it, the little pencil that comes with it, to write on it and actually do problems with them. That way they can understand it. On the computer, it makes it a little harder. So I'm going to try to figure that out, how I can imitate what I did on my iPad with the computer, because I think that helped out a lot, actually writing numbers and doing it by figuring out interest. Interest equals principal times rate times time. Well, I can sit and talk them through it, but I think it's better if they actually see it happening. Like in person, I can do it on a whiteboard. Well, I want to be able to do that on the computer. So I'm still working out the details on that. And I think that would really help them seeing the visual as opposed to me walking them through it. But I hope that answered all the questions and have a good day.